Everyone, good afternoon. Welcome back to VODAN Africa and Asia meeting. In today's discussion, we'll discuss about the update from access and from FDV and CEDAR convergence, access control, and also FAIR special journal. But before we start the session, as always, please turn off your audio and also raise your hand if you have a question during the presentation, and or you can put your question on the chat box. And now I will hand over to Professor Francisca. The floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, Putu, and I would like to join you to welcome everyone, and thank you all for your presence today, as usual, for keeping a date with us. Today we are going to be having some updates, some technical and procedural updates. Putu, if you can be admitting the members that are coming in, so I could just concentrate on. Yes, thank you.
Yes.
We'll be having some operational updates to be given by Professor Miriam on the meeting with the different implementation teams in Zimbabwe and Ethiopia. And then we'll have the updates on the CEDAR localization to be given by Miriam and Aliyah. We have split into some sub-technical teams last week, and we were able to have a meeting yesterday with the different teams and further define the task. And of course, we have Getu and Samson. We warmly welcome them back from Mekele. We had some problems in their absence on the bulk inputs. We had some questions in their absence, and yesterday they were able to do that demonstration. So I hope Getu and Samson, if they're here, yes, I've seen Samson, they will make a brief presentation on the revision to the access and control subsystem. And of course, if there are some specific things that the members of our community need to know in using that application, they would also hopefully make that input. Getu had shared a video with us, so this may be a good time to also show the videos to the members of our community present at this meeting. We expect also today to have a brief technical update from Dr. Sakinat and Misha on the status of the special issue articles. I know some articles, complete articles came in within the course of the week between the last meeting and now. So we expect to have some updates from them to know the status of our articles. And finally, from you, Putu, we expect to receive an update on the work of the access and control team and the work of the DCC team with Eric Flinkenschied of the LUMC. And with that, we'll have enough points for discussion within our community to have answers to some of the questions. So I would like to hand over to Professor Miriam to provide some operational updates based on our meeting with the two country teams, the implementation teams in Zimbabwe and Ethiopia. Prof, please.
Thank you, Francesca, and also wanted to welcome back here Thea Esther. I was sending around a really nice article that she's just been, I just found it published. So it's good to see you back, Thea.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think it is really nice for everyone in the PhD research track on FAIR and health to get those connections. So Thea is also working on this topic and has Kenyan background and is in Germany. So it's really good to see you. On the country teams, we had a meeting with Araya and then subsequently Getu and Samson. So all of that is working quite fine in the Ethiopian situation, as well as with Wondimu, who also has his team ready. So Francesca, I would say that as soon as we can start with the next phase, the next step would really be to have a clear document for the ministries of health in terms of what we are exactly planning to do, which facilities should be involved, what is requested from the Ministry of Health. So yeah, I still hope that Obina could help with that kind of a document. Wondimo proposed that for the first phase of implementation, we would focus on Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. I think that seems like a reasonable suggestion. Then once that has worked, we can move out and across, of course. Then the Zimbabwe team, Kuda Kwashi is here, but I don't know if he has sound. Kuda, do you want to speak to that? Oh, Wondimo is there also, I see. I didn't see Wondimo earlier. Wondimo, let me first go back to Ethiopia, maybe. Wondimo, did you want to speak to what I just said?
Hello, yes, Prof.
That's good.
How are you?
Wondimo, yes. Hi, Wondimo, hi.
Yes, yes, thank you. Yes, thank you. Hi, how are you? I think as you have said, so many to handle those issues, it would be good to implement an Addis. Once we get lesson from the Addis, and then it's possible also to expand to the other part of the country, because so many activities and project is going in Addis. So it's very easy for us also to, to pass or to handle so many bureaucracies there. Because as I've mentioned, sometimes when we want to introduce especially such type of system, the bureaucracies, it took long time in order to handle and pass through those process. But if we implement in Addis, because already we do have a good collaboration in Addis, so we can handle, and then we can show this as a best practice and lesson, and then it's possible to scale up in the other part of the country. Thank you. Over.
Yeah, I think that is practical, and we want to really first have the proof of concept before we really go any further. So I think that would be a really good decision. And Wondimo also, we had a long discussion, and he also briefed us on his work in Liberia. And we also think that we can really generate interest in Liberia as well, Professor Francesca. So this is something that we will follow up, but it will be ongoing discussion with Wondimo, who's managing it. Then I can go to Kuda Kwashi for the briefing on the Zimbabwe team. Kuda. Hello, Kuda. Hello? If there is a connection problem, maybe I should just speak to the discussion that we had. So we had a meeting with the team in Great Zimbabwe University. So they are getting clearer of the tasks ahead, especially also now the next phase to ask for the approval of the Ministry of Health. And we are now in the process of linking to the coordinate team members so that the team can solidify. Otherwise, the team is now settled. On the Zimbabwe side, there is Golden Maunganidze, who is a communications person. So it could be an idea, if this would be of interest, that Obina and Golden could work together on a short, concise document that we can manage with which we can introduce the project to the ministries of health and also to the health facilities. Well, then the other update is that there is just a document released by the WHO where they are speaking of smart data. I send it to some of you. I can send it here in our WhatsApp group, but it looks very, very much similar to FAIR. So one of the things that we might want to do is make a really concise, detailed analysis of the WHO proposal and our own modus operandi now in VODAN. And then looking at the app, Feng Hong, nice to see you. And I had seen that Heng Yang is there at the Zoom meeting. May he have a few minutes to present what he's doing about fair equivalency analysis in China? Yes, of course. And you have only 10 minutes. So let me quickly go over then, with your permission, Francesca, to Yang Eng to hear about the work on fair equivalency in China. Yang Eng,
please.
Hi, Theo.
Please, Professor Francisca. Yeah.
Would you like to share your screen?
My student Yang Heng, yes, he will share his screen.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Kutu, can you please make her a co-host? Since you're the host, I am not able to.
Okay, wait a minute.
You're making Yan a co-host. Great.
You can share your screen now, Yang.
So Yang Heng, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. Can you share your screen? 可以共享你的电脑的屏幕。Yeah.
现在可以了吗？
可以。
Hello, everyone. My name is Yang Heng, and I'm very glad to be here to introduce the work which is I'm still working on fair principle equivalency analysis in China, and I will present it from 4 parts: the introduction and the research objects, the methodology, the preliminary results, and the next step plan. Firstly, millions, even billions of US dollars have been spent on research data management, including data infrastructure construction during the past decade. Correspondingly, data policies and regulations have been released on different levels across various domains. For example, in China, we have these regulations from different departments, and on the one hand, many stakeholders, including funding agencies, universities, and so on, have regulations on data management and curation. On the other hand, FAIR principles have been adopted by a greater number of across-country projects and applied to many domains. So we arise this question: whether the FAIR principles are mentioned and used by Chinese policymakers. And in order to answer this question, we did literature and web information scanning work, then download the key policy documents and ready for making a format transformation. And all this work is for the FAIR principles equivalency analysis. Then I will show you the table of the number and the kind of institutions that we investigated. As you can see, we have investigated 20 national data centers and research institutions and 49 academic institutional repositories, and 4 founders are administrators. Finally, 35K policy documents in these institutions' website were obtained. and it's about 20 MB. Then we go to the figure 1, the number of policies relevant to FAIR principles or not. As you can see, the yellow part represents that there are 18 policies contain the content relevant to FAIR principles. Well, in fact, most of them just mentioned the equivalent content of the FAIR sub-principles, 1 or 2, and it seems that they are more interested in fundability, accessibility, and reusability. Several of them mentioned fundability and reusability at the same time. So the reason of the lack of interoperability is interesting for me. And about the next step, how to analyze these results, I think we can extract the FAIR relevant content from the policies to do some text analyze and FAIR metrics evaluation manually or automatically. Well, it depends. Just like this picture. Then we can find out which policy or institution reached the highest level of fairness and why. So this is some work I did recently, and I'm really looking forward to listening some advice or comments from you. Thank you very much.
That's very, very good. Excellent. I would like to thank you for making this presentation. Mariam, do you have any comments in terms of the approach? Is it similar to the approach you took, or do you see some differences?
I think I'll have to probably get in touch with Yang Heng and find out how he did the analysis and compare and see if it's similar.
Yeah, I think that if a different methodology was used, it's still fine. But then we should try to see what the difference it gives for the results and the findings. So is that okay, Feng Hong, if Mariam approaches Han and that they discuss the details of the methodology that Han did and that Mariam did?
Yes, of course. Actually, the reason why I asked Han to do this kind of work is actually because I read the papers from the special issues. I think if you guys can do in Africa countries, and we can do the same job in China, and I think we can make cross comparison, compare across countries. And I think Han right now he has got a little bit interesting result, like there's no policy which mentions interoperability, but many of them mentioned fundability, accessibility, and reusability. So besides his literature analysis, I also want to ask him to do interview with some decision makers in China, and get to know the real reason why the policy actually doesn't directly mention the FAIR principles, instead of using the equivalent terms instead of the FAIR principles, and also why there's no policy which mentions the interoperability. I want to know the real reasons. I think we can get some ideas from doing interviews with decision makers and like staff who are working on like data centers and data infrastructures. And I think combination of Han's current work, policy analysis and the interview, we can maybe draw picture about the like the picture of the I mean the policy about data management of China.
Good, good. So at the moment on the fair equivalency tool, we have papers for the special issue from Uganda, from Mariam, from Zimbabwe, from Kudakwashi, from Ethiopia, that is still being prepared, but we will have it. Then from Nigeria, and then from Putu in Indonesia. And then if you would have China, that would be brilliant. But the methodology of Mariam, that Mariam first developed, and then everybody used the same methodology, it comes to a fair equivalency index. So in that sense, we could make a very interesting comparison between all of the countries, how fair equivalent the policy is. So in that sense, it would be good if Hang did the methodology as Mariam has done it. But at the same time, since he chose to do it this way, I think there is merit for Mariam to look at what different results it gives, since this work has already been done. And then we could compare the two methodologies in terms of the outcome they produce. But to get the same comparability, it would be better for Han to employ the methodology that we now have through all of the other articles.
Yes, of course. Yeah, it's yes, we will try.
So we will send all of the documentation to you, and Hang, if you can put the email maybe in the chat, and then we'll follow that up. That'd be very good. And then Sakinat, we can plan for this one article on China and fair equivalency for sure, also in the special issue, where we should then put all the articles on fair equivalency together.
Yes, I will follow up and also share Hang's email to you. And yes, Miriam.
And if there are any others, like for instance, Reginald or Esther from Kenya, that Kenya would still be very interesting to have the fair equivalency analysis of, and it's not a huge amount of work. So we could still include that at this stage, I think.
Yes, please.
Yeah, as we discussed, I have to do for equivalency analysis about Kenya. Right now, I have looked through some materials about the policy documents and I've found some of them. I also read other articles about the other African countries. I think that I can do that, and if other people can help me, yeah, I would like to do for equivalency in Kenya.
So Sarah, you're proposing that you can do the fair equivalency analysis for Kenya. That is a good thing. But then it might be good to work with Dr. Reginald and also even with Thea, if Thea is interested in that. I don't know, Esther.
Yes, I'm very interested. Sorry, am I muted? Oh no, I'm not muted.
No, we can hear you.
Yeah, I'm very interested. Please let me know, like Professor Reginald, yes?
Yes.
If we could, yeah, I'm going to get in touch with Professor Reginald and get started on this.
Excellent. Okay. We will send all the documentation. It follows a very logical procedure. And then it is just really a matter of collecting all the relevant policy documents and then, yeah, do the analysis. And then it gives you a score at the end of it. And it will be really nice if we have them really across so many countries. It's great. I'll send you the details of Dr. Reginald, Esther.
I have them.
Oh, you have them. Okay, perfect. Okay, then I think we're done with this part, Francesca. Back over to you. And Feng Hong, thank you. And especially Yang, a great job. Really nice to see.
Good, thank you.
Francesca?
Yes, Prof, thank you very much. And thanks to Yang and Dr. Fei Hong for that excellent presentation. I would like to hand over to Aliyah and Miriam for an update from the CEDAR localization. Yesterday, we had a meeting of the team, and then we also looked at the sub-teams and the activities that each of the sub-teams will be working on, and identified some of the gaps, one of which is the fact that we don't have the hospitals yet. We don't have the list of facilities in those countries yet. I have been in touch with Wondimun, and of course, even at that meeting, Getu also volunteered to get some facilities from the Tigray region if we so desire, or if we want to start the proof of concept only in the Addis area. So Aliyah and Mariam would like to have some updates on the activities of the CEDAR localization project. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, as Professor Francesca mentioned, so we have like different identified the teams. So there are 4 teams that will be working on vocabulary creation. So team number 1 is Mariam's team. So they will be identifying the vocabularies that are not in the bioportal, and also create templates in a CEDAR. Then team number 2 and team number 3 will be working on creating those vocabularies in a bioportal. So, and then we have Dr. Mariam's and Zohra's teams who will be working on Zonamway project. So for now, we have identified the vocabulary that is not already in a bioportal. So, which is like the facility or institutional names. So that are hospitals and clinicals in the implementation countries. So for now, we are waiting for the team to get the final list of those hospitals and clinics that will be in this project. So, and then we will work on the creation of it as a team. But this week we are also going to make the local assignment, like the assignment within the scope of the team. So make sure that we are ready when we get the update on the hospitals. So I think that's it from my side. So if Mariam wants to add something to that, so well, yeah.
No, I don't think there's anything more to add. But so far, like Aliyah said, we've identified a few vocabularies that need to be created, and yeah, then we'll move forward after that.
And can I just ask, is it clear who is in all of the 4 teams?
Yes, I was to ask Aliyah to probably share her screen so that we can see the people in the different teams. That was presented yesterday, but it would be good to have that also to the at-large group here.
Okay, yeah, I will do that.
Aliyah, are you able to?
You meant to share it now, sorry. Yeah, just a second.
Meanwhile, Hiketu is having a question. Hiketu.
So.
Sorry.
So this is the these are the teams that will be working on vocabulary creation. As you see, there are 4 teams. So like the number 1 is team of Mariam. So Abdullahi, Getu, William, and Ernest. And then the number 2 is Professor Francesca and me, and then Samson, Wonzimo, Abinna, Ezekiel. And then we have Dr. Sakinat's team, Koda, Adamu, Tehist, Kujet, and Nambobi. And then Dr. Mariam's and Zohra's team. So this is the list of data stewards that will be working on vocabulary creation. So, but yeah, we are still open to any, considerations. So that's basically it.
Hello. Hello, Prof. Can you hear me?
Yes, get to.
Yes.
Yes, get to.
I just want to ask some questions regarding the elections, identifying hospitals in Tigray. So, due to the current situation, the hospitals in Tigray, maybe it's difficult to work. So what I suggest is maybe we can start from Addis Ababa, as Wondumu suggested earlier. So what do you think, Prof?
Yes, that is absolutely fine.
Yeah.
To start from, yes, to start from Addis Ababa, that is absolutely fine.
In fact, Samson and I will come. We'll go. I mean, we will travel to Tigray and come back to Addis. We can try if it is manageable to work with hospitals in Tigray. Otherwise, it's feasible to start from Addis Ababa. Thank you.
Okay.
I think that is fine, Gate 2. I think that in the first phase, it is probably very relevant to concentrate on Addis, and so that we get the clearance by the Ministry of Health for Addis. And then, of course, we know that there is either hospital and that we may be able to use that as a testing site too. But maybe first, let's do things step by step.
Okay, Prof. Thank you.
All right. Additionally, in keeping with the combined architecture of research and clinical data, Dr. Reginald has requested to join team number 4, so that as Williams is working with the clinical data team, he will be with the research data team. So Aliyah, you may wish to include him and also send him part of the communications regularly in the emails.
So it is Dr. Reginald, right?
Yes, Dr. Reginald in group 4, while Williams will be with the clinical data team. Now, William remains in group 1, but like we agreed yesterday, yes, Prof, we also agreed that apart from group 4, which the clear-cut project, that within the clinical data team, people could move around, not formally, but then if there is somebody from team 2 or 3 who will be happy to help in identifying vocabularies that are not already in the bio portal, they're welcome to do so, so that everyone will eventually have been part of the knowledge pipeline from both identifying and creation of vocabularies. Thank you, Aliyah. Next, we'll go to Dr. Sakinat and Misha to provide an update on the special issue journal.
Should
Yeah.
I go? Or yes? Okay. Can I share my screen, maybe?
Yes, Misha, wait a minute. Wait a minute. You can share your screen now, Misha.
Yeah, I see. Can everyone see it properly? Yes. Okay. So the last week we've done a lot has moved. We have moved forwards a lot. By that I mean there are many articles that have been sent in, and several been sent to Susan. Have been sent to Susan as a result for editing. So we can expect those to come back soon with her comments. She has already looked at 3 articles, which are then are which she says are finished and don't need editing anymore. And that means that the number of articles that are still being worked on is decreasing fast, which is very good. So maybe congratulations in order for the hard work of everyone. And of the few that are still being worked on, most have said that they will be handing the final document in within the next few days, and so that's very good. Miriam, Professor von Weisen, will then look at them and provide feedback if necessary. Although we are seeing that most articles are basically finished and need very small edits to be able to be sent to Susan. So in that sense, I think we are moving forward well. Yeah, there's still a couple articles that I don't have a lot of information on how far they are, but I'm sure that that will be resolved soon. Yeah. Any questions? No?
No, Misha, could you explain to us what we mean by finalizing?
Right. So maybe the color scheme, I'll explain the color scheme. So the color scheme is essentially you have 4 colors that are important to know. The first color, which is the state that which are the articles that have the least progress, and by that I mean they're almost finished, um, but they haven't been submitted yet. Those are blue, and the status is then finalizing. So the authors are expecting to finish in the coming days, potentially by the end of the week. Um, then if I have a more specific date, I will note that down. For example, Article 14 here has they say they will be finished tomorrow, so I wrote that down just so we can keep track of where everyone is. The subsequent color is then yellow, and those articles have been submitted, and then Professor von Reisen looks at them and just reviews them and checks if important edits still need to be made, and then sends the feedback if necessary, and and if everything is in order, we then send them to Susan. So the articles with TBR in front of them, that just stands for to be reviewed, and that means that Van Ryzen hasn't looked at it yet. The next color is like a light green, and that just means that we have sent them to Susan. So these two for editing. So these two have been sent to Susan for editing, and so she will be looking at them now. And the bright green color means that Susan has looked at them and has sent them back, and that the editing required on them, well, they're finished. So yeah. And then red means that it's an article that has been abandoned. So we do not believe that any more work is going to be done on them. If I'm wrong on that, please tell me, but yeah.
Misha, maybe you can share this document so that people can see if there's anything there recorded as red that perhaps authors are still planning to
I will
provide.
put it in the chat. It's in the I will put it in the chat. It's also in the VODAN or in the special issue drive. And if there's anything wrong, send me an email. I'll put my email in the chat too for anyone that doesn't have it. Any other questions? No?
Yeah, no, there are no there are no other questions. Only that we encourage the authors that we still have not tried out these articles completely. We still expect them. At least we still have till March 4th. We are the third phase now. That's the second draft of the article. The deadline was on the 28th, and we still have up till March 21st. So we still expect that the authors of these articles they could still turn up. We still hope. We are still hopeful that they will turn up and probably submit the article before March 21st. Thank you.
And maybe from I just want to add that it is really a pleasure to read all of the articles, and there are such nice surprises in it. Dr. Sakinat, I just went through your article, and it's really very, very interesting. So it's a good job. It's a real pleasure to see what is coming, and congratulations everybody for magnificent work.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you, ma'am.
Do you want to present something, Dr. Sakinat? Or Misha?
No. Yeah.
Okay.
No. Nisha taking care of it. I didn't know it would be coming today, and it's so nice having him around.
Okay.
Yeah. For article number 4, by Luis Bonino, we were supposed to have in that article, trying to get a list of authors now, Marek, and of course Robert, and we have Getu, Samson, and then Engineer Elijah Joseph. And I remember Luis had sent an email that they have the members of the DSW team who are ready to contribute, but specifically was also requesting that since they have suggested the structure that Samson and Getu could actually complete that article. So I'll be happy to hear from Samson and Getu to see if they will be happy to complete that article. There's already the structure provided by Luis, because we have the introduction. He has provided the sections. That's the section headings now, but not, that was earlier in the year, not the content and the methodology, the semantic model. He assigned the architecture to Marek and 2 other people, Jan and 1 other person. And then there is a section on the CRF wizard, the self, the FDP, the triple store, and every other things. And then of course in the discussions and conclusion, it would be nice if our technical team could actually complete that article. Professor Miriam and I had offered to write the introduction, and especially the first part of the introduction, identifying the problem. And I don't know if Beth would also like to come in on this article, because it clearly describes the work on the DSW, the VODAN in a box, especially, and we don't have a formal documentation so far that will be published. It's an essential part of our history, and it will be good for us to actually complete that article.
Yeah, well, I've seen a documentation earlier in terms of VODAN in a box. I've not been involved in this article, so I cannot really judge on this article. That I don't know. But there is a formal document, or at least a documentation in terms of VODAN in a box, which was written earlier.
Yeah, but not from us. We are the first people to actually fully implement that VODAN in a box.
Yeah.
This was tested in VODAN Africa, and I think it would be good if we can have an article on it. We have the list of domain experts, but then 3 members of our community, VODAN Africa and Asia community, are listed here. So probably I could take it up with Getu and Samson later if they will be happy to complete the article together with the domain experts. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's an excellent idea, because then at least we have it documented. Yes, great idea.
Thank you, Prof. I would like to contribute. In fact, we were talking with Getu to work on the article. It's only that we were busy with the other articles on fair equivalency and other articles. Once we are through with them, we are planning to work on this. But the other concern that we also had is the kind of overlap that's going to be there in the documentation as well as in the paper, because we've seen the documentation. I can say it's well documented, but I think to present it in a scientific paper would also add value. So, but we felt like the authors should be those that have been there in the work, because basically that's much of their work, and bringing that documentation to the paper and be the author of the paper wasn't palatable for us, and that's why we stepped back a little. Thank you very much.
Right.
I think that is good, and perhaps there also needs to be a collaboration between the team of Getu and Samson and the team of Rondimu on the fair equivalency in Ethiopia, because if multiple people are working on it, then that is good, but we should make it into one team. So maybe you can contact each other and see who is doing what. And Getu and Samson, you also have a lot on your plate, so it's also good to distribute it, including with the team of Rondimu.
Yes, Professor. Actually, we have already identified the policy documents, strategy documents, and other important documents in the from the Ministry of Health and other ministries. So I was thinking to call Wandumu and discuss about these 12 documents.
Yes.
So that we will have a clear understanding on the documents.
Excellent.
Yeah,
that is excellent. And I think maybe Wandimu's team also has some capacity, but he will clarify that in the call that you have. That's very good, Getu.
Thank you.
Is there any comment or question?
I think we can move to the next topic. I think we are exhausted on the work. Maybe the one thing that I should say is that everybody realizes that we are going to have 2 special issues, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we are going to probably cluster the fair equivalency all in the first issue. I think that would make a lot of sense. Plus the work, like the VODAN in a box would actually naturally come in the special issue number 1, and then a special issue number 2. But we don't want to have a big time gap between them. So we are just completely realizing them hand in hand. The articles that come first are going to editing first. And then when we have everything in, we will decide the logic for the 2 special issues. That's it. That's all I have, Putu.
Okay, then I think we should move to the next session. That's the last session. It's access and control update. Actually, there's no major update from access and control. I'm still like making a documentation, the access and control in the Google Drive, and also I will start to break down the agreement on the VODAN Africa agreement. So I will break down and like make a short presentation about what we should highlight on that VODAN Africa agreement that connect to access control, and also I will talk to Eric tomorrow, and also with Bert about the Article 32 that also connect to access and control, and maybe I will update I will have the major update next week. But for now, it's only minor update about the access and control. Is there any question or comment before we close the session? Yes, Professor Miriam, do you want to add? Yeah. Who's speaking?
Well, no, only to say that is a lot of excellent progress, and perhaps we need to see if the team of Feng Hong also wants to be included in the teams of Aliyah. Oh, Yang Heng is still here, I see. So this is a question that I still have. Putu, is it right that I didn't see you in any of those teams?
Yeah, actually, I want to ask Aliyah about that. I mean, like, I follow the video even I'm not in the meeting, but I follow the video. I discussed with Aliyah also yesterday about that. So Aliyah can put me in one of those teams.
Yeah, I think so. I think you should be there. And I don't know, Yang Han, do you also want to be in any one of those teams?
Can you speak?
Yeah, we can hear you.
What? Oh, sorry. What did you say?
The question was whether you wanted to be in the teams that look at the machine readable vocabulary.
Yes, of course.
You would want to, okay.
Yeah.
So maybe Putu, you can or Aliyah actually can liaise with Yang Heng and then just include him in the Monday meetings and the one of the teams.
Yes, sure. I will invite him to the Monday meetings.
Yeah, maybe in the team, maybe Yang Heng can go in the team of Mariam.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, well then, I think this was a really excellent meeting. Thanks, Putu, for organizing, and Professor Francesca for preparing. Great meeting. And thanks, everybody, for being here.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay, thanks, Professor Miriam. So I think I will close the meeting. thanks for the participation in this session, and we'll see you next week. And the recording of this meeting will be, you will find the recording in YouTube and also OSF, and also I will upload it on WhatsApp. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Putsu.
Bye bye, everybody.
Welcome.
Have a good evening.
Bye.